We already mentioned a little bit about VSPT, Vision, Strategy, People, and Tasks, and we'll start to expand on that in the following slides. The VSPT model is originally from West Point Military Academy. It was used by Newt Gingrich in the early 90s to engineer the takeover of Congress by the Republicans midterm during Bill Clinton's first term in office. The original VSPT from West Point was Vision, Strategy, Projects, and Tactics. Down through the years, as we have used this, we realize that it's actually vision, strategy, people, and tasks, and that there's typically a disconnect between the vision and strategy of an organization and the people and the tasks. This one is deceptively simple as well, but it's extremely powerful. And if you have leaders in your organization that come from a military background, they're going to love this because this speaks their language of leadership. So we'll be going through this very briefly in these following slides. The origin of VSPT is actually West Point Military Academy. First time Ted and I ran across this was in the 90s. And Newt Gingrich actually used this as one of their tools for aligning the entire Republican Party, the entire party apparatus, to line everybody up with a single vision of taking over Congress in, I think it was 96? I think it was 96. Or maybe it was for 94. Could have been already for 94 because I think they got it halfway through Clinton's first term, which turned into a nightmare for him because in his second term, we all know that he got impeached and fun things like that. So what was brilliant about this, and the original VSPT was vision, strategy, projects, and tactics. Okay. What's interesting about this is not only was this used by West Point Military Academy, it was also used by the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. Ted and I were on a project together in Helsinki, and we were presenting the foundations of flow. And when we got to VSPT, the people that we were presenting to, they were from a billing company that was based in Israel, or at least their headquarters was based in Israel. They were a worldwide company. And I remember the head of their team, he was like a lieutenant colonel general type thing in the IDF. He literally came up out of his chair, pounded the table, and demanded to know, where did you get this? And Ted, staying calm, he looked at the lieutenant colonel, and he looked at him and he smiled and he said, well, probably the same place you got it. Have you ever read the Torah? And the guy's eyes got really big and he sat down. Obviously he had, since being Jewish, he had read the Torah. And this comes straight from there. And so he calmed down and realized that we hadn't been spying on the IDF because they use this framework for their elite forces. Okay? So this has a deep history, both militarily leadership and political leadership. And so Ted and I realized that, ooh, we can apply this in project management. But we had a slightly different version of VSPT. And at first we had vision, strategy, projects, and tasks. But then we realized over time that, well, actually, it's not so much projects that are important, but people. And so it's the people and the tasks that they're doing that are most important. And are those people and tasks linked to the strategy and linked back to the vision? The line is still there because without fail, in every organization, there's a big disconnect. The thicker the line, the wider the line, the bigger the disconnect. And without exception, every organization with which we've ever worked has had that disconnect. I don't care who they are. I haven't seen a single one yet that hasn't had that disconnect. I can guarantee you, we can find it. So, in the end, it boils down to the right people doing the right things at the right time, in the right way, that hopefully will deliver the right results, getting you one step closer to fulfilling your strategy and one step closer to fulfilling your vision. When you're struggling as an organization to deliver, I can guarantee you it's because there's a disconnect there and it needs to be explicitly addressed. If it's not explicitly addressed, it will just continue to fester there, creating confusion, underperformance, and friction. And primarily, friction is what it's going to create because people will just get annoyed with each other. So, our current version of VSPT is Vision, Strategy, People, and Tasks. And we have it as the core of what we do. Vision is absolutely key. A very wise ancient wrote one time, without vision, the people perish. And that's the translation into English from, I don't know, 15, 1600s. But in Swedish, that same proverb says, it's the picture of where the people have no vision, they cast off restraint. But the way it's translated, it uses the metaphor or word picture of someone opening up the barn doors and letting the horses just go running out all over the place, all over the fields. Every horse is running every different which direction. And both of those pictures are true. If there's no vision, your people are going to die. they're going to go, what on earth are we doing this for? Okay? And if there's no vision and you open the barn doors and say, okay, let's go conquer the world, and every horse is running off every which way to the four directions of the compass, and there's no focused effort, you immediately dilute the effect of what you're trying to achieve. And so vision is core, vision is first in the flow formula. In the flow formula, it's vision plus right people plus the 4D model. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Your leadership takeaway for this video is VSPT, Vision, Strategy, Peoples, and Task. And this is basically one of the key tools that we use, and you'll see this popping up again when we talk about cascading vision in the training materials. One of the most powerful applications of this tool is that you can build political and critical mass for your project, product, process, whatever it is that you're working for. You can apply this and use it immediately by looking at the organization's vision and strategies and how does the vision and strategy of your product, service, or result line up to that. And then who are the people and tasks that I need in order to be able to deliver that. You're going to see this over and over again throughout our presentations, and typically when we're talking about vision and we have vision in the center of the 4D model, for example, we're also including VSPT in that definition.